10-0, undefeated in the ACC, but they've been down at halftime 5 times. Not today. They trailed in the fourth quarter several times. Jameis Winston, much better numbers in the second half, especially in the interception department. Right now, Winston has them at the BC 42-yard line, 1st and 10. Blitz coming, spins out of the way. Flag is down. Winston still on his feet, getting everything he could. Looked like Roderick Johnson, the freshman left tackle, may have been called for a hold trying to protect Winston.
Holding, offense, number 77, 10-yard penalty, first down.
And it is Johnson.
Terrific job so far today by Don Brown, the defensive coordinator, calling pressures. You said at the beginning of the game that he told us with just 4 people rushing, we can't pass rush a dead tree. So he's brought a 5th or a 6th guy, and that time clearly the true freshman holding on Josh Keyes, the outside linebacker. But Don Brown doing a terrific job, one of the best rush defenses in the country. He knows he can't get much pass rush. He's down 2 cornerbacks. He had to move a safety over to corner, so the only way, they said, look, we may get beat one-on-one, but we're not going to let Winston stand there and pick us apart in zone coverage.
Here comes another blitz. Winston steps up and then goes down. Almost got back to the line of scrimmage. Wojak and Mahalik had pressure. Wojak number 90, Mahalik 99.
Looking at the struggles that this offensive line has had against this defensive front and the immobility now of Jameis Winston, he just doesn't look like he did earlier in the season with that ankle. It's going to be tough sledding next week against Florida. Will Muschamp may be going out as the head coach, but he's going out because of the struggles on offense. There have been no struggles at Florida with Will Muschamp as the head coach.
2nd and 20. 6 men at the line of scrimmage for the Eagles. They bring 5. Good blitz pickup. The post and incomplete. Cameron Moore was with Jesus Bobo Wilson, but Winston put it on the money.
Terrific job by the freshman Moore. He was a little bit out of position. This ball floated just a touch, and that's a catch that it would have been a tough catch. But that's like we saw Rashad Green on that exact same route miss it. And that was a terrific throw by Winston. Pretty good coverage, but that ball was dropped.
And great blitz pickup by Darwin Cook, too, to give him a chance to make the throw. 3-man rush this time. Winston floats one incomplete. Another catchable ball. Erman Lane had it in his hands.
That's at least 3, if not 4, just clean drops by Florida State.
Sure is.
And talk about a big turn of events here. You mentioned the last drive. The arm was hit right there a bit by Goodapple. But this is a ball that has to be caught by Lane. And Florida State doing just enough to let Boston College feel like, you know what, we might be able to win this thing.
Beatty floats his punt to Alston. Nice kick by Beatty. Puts it out of bounds inside the 10. A punt of 44 yards. Jameis Winston putting the ball on the money and getting nothing for it. Welcome back to Tallahassee. Now for today's Aflac Trivia question. When was the last time BC defeated a 10-0 team? Done it more than once.
November 22nd, 2014, perhaps? That's today.
That would be a heck of an answer to the trivia question, wouldn't it? Murphy on the keeper. And the nation's leading rushing quarterback gets out to about the 11-yard line. I'm going to have to go back and guess that it was over in Notre Dame.
Yeah, Boston College in the early 90s, they seemed to have Notre Dame's number when Notre Dame was streaking towards national championship.
Made it a habit.
Yeah, so I'll go with you. Early 90s Notre Dame. And they're looking for another one here today. What a gigantic win this would be across the entire landscape of college football because of the playoff, but for Steve Addazio and his staff, especially in rebuilding Boston College.
Seminoles getting penetration and toss. Miles Willis down inside the 10. Mario Edwards Jr., 288 pounds, comes on the blitz or on pressure.
Unblocked, and that's what you do in the zone read. You usually leave that backside defensive end unblocked, and Edwards, who plays all over the field, standing up at outside linebacker, great vision.
Just a mountain of a man. He moves speed and mobility.
Yeah, I was going to say, he moves a little too smoothly for a guy that big.
3rd and 13. Conservative call. They hand it off to Marcus Outlaw, who breaks it. They were just trying to get some running space. And he breaks it for 20 yards.
And it looked like Nate Andrews, one of the safeties for Florida State, may have landed awkwardly on the sidelines as he went over to make the tackle.
And we've got a timeout with 11:59 to go. 4th quarter and a tie ball game.
Football presented by K Jewelers. Brought to you by Pacific Life. For insurance, annuities, and investments, choose Pacific Life. The power to help you succeed. Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop ChooseNissan.com. And Dell.
That's the FSU Museum of Fine Arts. It gives the space for students who are graduating with advanced degrees chance to display their work, and it looked like Nate Andrews, who's had a terrific game, got kicked in the face. Back to live action, and BC, another carry from Marcus Outlaw.
Well, that was a big miss. Watch number 26. Excuse me, right out here. That's Andrews that I circled on the top, but that's P.J. Williams. And a big holding call now for Boston College, but P.J. Williams gets stuck on the inside, which allows Outlaw to go by. And then right at the very end, just a horrific chin down on the heel of Outlaw as it came up. And Nate Andrews came over to the sideline. They were tending to his chin area. But now a big penalty for Boston College after a long run. But that was P.J. Williams, the junior cornerback, who went to the inside. That was going to be a 4th and long if he makes that.
Sure
Boston
was.
College is punting from their own end zone. But because he got sucked down inside, a new set of downs for the Eagles.
Now after the hold, it backs them up 1st and 14. They mark off the hold from where it occurred, so it only turns into a 4-yard penalty. Hillman trying to get to the outside. Powerful runner, and takes it up to about the 28-29 yard line.
Well, Steve Adazio, the former offensive lineman from Connecticut State, where he played in college, has become a run-based coach. He did it at Temple. He's now doing it here. He did it as the offensive coordinator of Tim Tebow at Florida. But in their wins, they have had massive rushing numbers. And today, much of the same, creeping towards 200 yards. And it's the whole reason they're in this ball game. They've been able to keep Jameis Winston in that offense, which hasn't been great, off the field.
2nd and 6. That ball is on the ground and picked up by the running back. Looked like Tyler Rouse, the running back, came up with it. It appeared to hit either a pulling guard or the center's leg.
Well, I know it slipped out of his hand. Yeah,
just
slipped right out of his hand. Yeah, I've been there. I was a center. I had to do shotgun snaps. It's a wet day. You've got a million things going on. You're playing against a bunch of guys who are going to play in the NFL next year, probably. And so for Gallic, the last thing you want is that ball to slip out. And
so it's a huge 3rd down, 3rd and 7. With 10-11 to go in the game, it's tied at 17. Murphy. Pressure coming. Out of the pocket. Murphy, 1st down, got out of bounds. What a great hustle play by Tyler Murphy.
This offensive line for Boston College, and Janine gave a report earlier that they were just worn out and tired. Give them all the credit in the world. This is terrific blocking. Nobody was open. Just not the speed Boston College needs on the outside to get open, but this offensive line has played really well this afternoon.
First down at the 37. Fly sweep, Alston. Trying to get outside, and does. Got everything out of it he could before he took his 163-pound frame out of bounds.
Florida State's defense right now cannot get off blocks. Niles, there's Ramsey again with the face mask. That's close. Earlier we saw if you don't grab it and turn it, they don't call it anymore. There's no more 5-yard incidental. But right now, the guys in the maroon jerseys, every one of them is being blocked. You expect that they have an athletic advantage. This part in the game, it's gone. They're being blocked time and time again.
Alston has had fly sweeps of 16, 10, and 9. They run him across the formation, give it to Outlaw up the middle. Just shy of a first down. Perhaps it will be 3rd and inches.
You got to put this in perspective for Florida State. They've won 26 games in a row. They're headed for a chance at another national championship. They have a team with 6 wins coming in Boston College. Good win earlier in the year against USC. Good win against Virginia Tech. But it's still a middle-of-the-road ACC team.
Nothing has been easy for the Seminoles this year. And the difference in the game, one of 3 misses from your field goal kicker, who was the best in the country. He's missed 3 in 2 years. Won the Groza Award last year. Is the favorite to win the Groza Award this year.
And with a run-based offense like Boston College has, Jameis Winston, the guy who won the Heisman last year, doing nothing but sitting and getting cold and wet. What do you think about a run-action pass here, maybe?
Be a heck of a time to call it, wouldn't it? But remember, they cursed themselves for getting away from what they are earlier this year. And now BC is going to use one of their timeouts. That would tell you they're going to run it. The gambler in Ed says they're going to throw it. To our Aflac trivia question, which was, when was the last time BC defeated a 10-0 team? It's a watershed moment because we both got it right. It was number 2 Notre Dame in 1993. They had beaten number 1 Florida State the previous week to take over the top seed, but only for 7 days. 3rd and short, BC grinds it out for a first down with 8.5 minutes left in the game. This is a huge drive with the clock running, 8:22. Longest streak in the FBS. They haven't lost since November 24th, 2012.
And all the college football playoff early conspiracy theorists now dialing in for this game.
Willis trying to get to the outside, driven out of bounds to stop the clock momentarily at the Florida State 48-yard line. Second and 7. Murphy, quarterback draw, another first down near the 40. Let's check in with Robert Flores. What a late season run for Brett Bielema and his guys at Arkansas. Clock becoming a huge factor here, Ed, under 7. Run Alston across the formation, give it to Outlaw. And Outlaw inside the 30, another first down for BC. Nate Andrews back in the ball game, injured earlier, made another tackle. He's in double digits.
And if Andrews is not there and not in this game after taking that incredible chin hit from Outlaw's heel earlier in the game, that's a touchdown. But boy, is this clock starting to tick away. And Florida State, they're getting beat. I don't know how else to say it, but on defense right now, 13 straight runs for Boston College. They are starting to carve up the Seminoles.
BC's offensive line has been terrific. Outlaw again, this time swallowed up by the middle of that defense.
You know, you go back to the bye week we were talking about for Florida State, that they have faced 4 teams coming off of bye weeks this year, including Boston College. And Steve Adazio said that a big part of what he did in that break was give his guys 4 days off. That's so much time to give off during the season. So you think here in the fourth quarter, Florida State last week had to play a night game at Miami, an emotional game that they came back in the fourth quarter, come back for a tough week of practice, and Boston College looks like the fresher team at this point in the fourth quarter.
2nd and 9. And this is a direct snap to Bordner, the wide receiver. He's throwing back to Murphy, and he almost had it at the 2. So we knew they'd have some trick plays. This is the second pass Bordner has tried in this game. This was a throwback to Tyler Murphy. They almost had it.
Just a little bit late by Bordner making the throw back across. Bordner was a quarterback before switching. And Brutus right there, but I mean, you could say the guy should catch it, but he is a quarterback going up with 2 defensive backs going up to make the play. I like the call. I don't think you feel comfortable about the field goal here. You got to make sure you pick up 3 or 4 yards if you're BC.
Murphy, quarterback draw. Seminoles smelled that one out. They were having no part of it. Eddie Goldman, the defensive end, and Terrence Smith, the middle linebacker.
And they bring out Alex Howell, Boston College does, instead of Mike Knoll, the true freshman. They said Howell was a guy who was going to kick longer field goals, but Howell, a guy who was only hit 5 of 10 on the year.
It's been a struggle.
Yeah, so if Murphy could have picked up another 3 or 4, you think this would be easier, but and Murphy has to switch sides because Knoll is a left-footed kicker, so real confusion here for Boston College, and they're running out of time.
This is the very edge of his range. Drills it, but wide right. Field goal kicking, such a huge part of the game. We have had big misses on both sides. That's a story in itself with Aguayo missing. But Howell kicks this one to the right. We are still tied 17-all. Number 9 UCLA plays host to 19th ranked USC in a big showdown in the Pac-12 South tonight. Saturday Night Football, 8 Eastern on ABC. There will be a lot written and said about BC's decision to try the trick play, the throwback to the quarterback Murphy on 2nd and 8. But you're here trying to win. They make a decision. That's the best shot they had.
Well, you were getting 4 or 5 yards a run, and it was there. The pass was there. A little late. Murphy couldn't quite make a play, but the way they were running it.
Carlos Williams reversing his field, looking for a block at the edge. Out of bounds at the 35. Jameis Winston, not afraid to stick his face in the fan, got him a block.
But I think you're right. Ryan Day, the offensive coordinator for Boston College, if he went back, as we take another look at Williams keeping the play alive. But you've got to think, if you're a coach, you go back and you call a play, it looked like it was going to work. It wasn't. You go to 3rd and 8 instead of maybe 3rd and 3 or 4. Second guessing, of course, but
Winston to Cook in the flat, makes 2 guys miss. Trying to stay on his feet. They said a knee was down. He didn't like the call.
No, his elbow was down. Let's see right there. Yeah, he's down.
Knees aren't down.
Doesn't matter. Elbow's down. He put his elbow on the ground, so he's down right there.
One elbow equals one knee. Is that correct?
You can put your hand. As soon as you get into the wrist or forearm or elbow, you're down.
Cook again. Remember at the end of last week's Miami game, Cook was the guy who handled the ball in the clutch and made the big plays.
Last 3 plays on offense against Miami, a screen to this young man, 2 long runs. One of them became the go-ahead touchdown. And this is a position this team has been in so many times this year. And you remember, you go back to last year in this Boston College game, down 17-3 early, came roaring back. So this is a team that has built a habit and understands what it means to be in this position.
Last-second thrills, no surprise to anybody. Williams comes back in the ball game to get the hard, short yards up to the 48. Mike Strizak made the tackle.
And I think what Jimbo Fisher is saying right now with 2:58 and counting left, I don't want to throw unless I absolutely have to. I want to eat as much clock. And even though Aguayo missed a kick today, he doesn't care about that. Aguayo's best kicker in the country. He'll go right back to him. So right now, playing a very conservative play call, and I don't blame Jimbo Fisher.
Green. That'll be a first down at the 40. Rashad Green, who left the field injured early, picks up 11.
Terrific job staying alive by Jameis Winston. He was looking towards Jesus Wilson on a long route, who was essentially tackled. I'm not sure how defensive holding was not called, but Winston keeps the ball alive, and he does such an amazing job of keeping his eyes down the field while he's moving.
Flags are down at the line of scrimmage.
They get Cam Irving his second career game at center.
Ball start, offense, number 75. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Had a man flying at him.
Just gave it a little, right. Oh, no. Snapping it too early. Can't say enough about what Irving has done, though. Switching from left tackle, he had started 37 straight games there. Then they moved him into center as Roderick Johnson, the true freshman, came on at left tackle and made a wonderful transition.
Blitz coming. Winston hangs in, throws down to the 30. That's going to be close to another first down. Rashad Green. And if you're going to cover Rashad Green with one guy, he's going to go to him every time.
And Boston College right now playing safeties off a little bit. They're going to try to make Florida State earn this. But if you leave that much cushion for Jameis Winston, when he starts getting into a rhythm like he is late in a ball game, he's going to pick you apart. And
Rashad Green just broke the all-time yardage record. Cook made a man miss, shakes another tackle to the 21.5-yard line. Seminoles just eating up yards, eating up the clock.
Watch a perfectly timed blitz by Stephen Daniels, the middle linebacker, who gets nothing but air. It's really unbelievable how good this young man Cook is once he gets the ball. Completely unblocked guy in the backfield, jukes him, picks up 9.
He'll get it again, cuts off the left side, then back to the right. Shows you some power down to the 15. In the interim, the clock is just ticking away, and Boston College can't do anything about it.
Yeah, and I think BC's got to start thinking about those 2 timeouts. Obviously, you don't want to do one here on first down, but at some point, well, here comes Boston College calling timeout. And I think this is a good timeout. Not only stop the clock, their defense needs a break right now.
You're absolutely right. 54 seconds left on the clock, tied at 17. Today's Good Hands Play brought to you by Allstate. We'll take you back 30 years, the anniversary of Doug Flutie putting his mark on college football.
Throws it down. Caught by Boston College. I don't believe it. It's a touchdown. The Eagles win it.
Flutie to Phelan. One of the great plays in the history of this game. And there's Doug's nephew, who was on this roster, a backup quarterback.
The 4th Flutie Troy is to play here at Boston College.
Good for them. Cook to the 14-yard line.
I got to tell you, if I'm Jimbo Fisher and Boston College is down to 1 timeout, Right now, I'm thinking about taking some knees and sending Aguayo out just to win the game.
Got a timeout. Back in a moment. Winston saying, I fake it to him.
Come on, I swear, I can. I promise you.
Rashid's going to be dancing in the end zone. Really? It's another off day, Robert.
Well, he's mad. His record was already broken. I think if you're Florida State, no reason to hand the ball off here. Get it to the middle of the field and maybe kick it on third down with time on the clock.
BC cannot stop the clock.
And now if I'm Florida State, I would get this down to about 10 seconds, call a timeout, and I think you want to kick it on third down. The reason being, you'll have another timeout. If there is a bad snap or the holder can't get it down, he can down it. You can call the timeout. You can run it. So surprised that Florida State's even running an offensive play here.
You saw Jimbo saying timeout. Winston almost dropped a snap. Gave it to Dalvin Cook.
And that's when.
And Jimbo is telling the official, I called timeout.
Watch as Winston comes out of this. The ball was short-armed a bit by Irving. You know, we talked yesterday to Jimbo Fisher about the talents of Jameis Winston, and he talked about how great his hand talent was, his ability to feel the ball and to grab it. If Winston doesn't have great hands there, I'm not sure that ball does not end up on the turf. I'm really shocked that Florida State chose to run a play on third down instead of trying to kick it on third down in case there was a mistake with the snap and the hold. But it looked like Jimbo Fisher was maybe trying to get a timeout before that play.
You could, if you could read lips, you could see he's saying, what else do I have to do? I call timeout.
Well, and which would have made sense. A little surprised that they ran the play there, and boy, did they get lucky that Winston was able to hold on to that snap.
Aguayo comes on for a game winner from 25. Now they make it 26, 27. He's hit a 37-yarder, missed from 40. Roberto Aguayo makes up for the miss. And the Florida State Seminoles so accustomed to tight games.
And give an MVP award to Kason Beatty, the punter holder. Watch how high and outside this snap is. It's a wet turf, a wet ball. That's a great hold. We saw Beatty with a high hold earlier on the miss by Aguayo. This time, the punter comes through for his mate. A snap that was not perfect was put down perfectly by Kason Beatty.
Got it down with the laces out. And the Seminoles continue to dance on the edge.
And do you know how much it will matter if they are 13-0 at the end of the season?
Not
Absolutely
much.
No. But remember, there is a seeding in the playoff, and that's pushing things forward. Florida State still needs to beat Florida next week at home, a very emotional game.
Then Georgia Tech.
With Will Muschamp in his last game, a coach that the players like and will play hard for in their in-state rivalry. Then they play a very good 9-win Georgia Tech team. But if they win out, the question is, if you're 1 or 4, you're going to Pasadena, where they won the national championship last year. If you're number 2 or 3, you're going to New Orleans for the Sugar Bowl, which would be a much better deal for people here in Tallahassee than Pasadena.
And Jimbo Fisher still talking to officials on the sideline saying, you know what, I called timeout on third down.
Well, if I were him and I called timeout and I saw my quarterback almost drop it, I'd still be telling the officials about that as well.
3 seconds left. Let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. And boy, what an interesting afternoon this has been. FSU working on its 27th win, an ACC record, a school record, longest in FBS. Rashad Green, late in this game, broke the school record for receiving yards. He had already broken the record for catches. And Aguayo, the first miss he's ever had in 2 years at home. But he kicks what appears to be the game winner. This pass over the middle, incomplete, and that's it. 27 straight for FSU. A Herculean effort by Boston College. They nearly get the upset on the road.
Wonderful showing for Steve Adazio and his group. They're going to a bowl game this year. You can see Jimbo Fisher right there shaking his head. And for Boston College fans, unfortunately, they're going to have to start hearing about their head coach being a candidate for the job at Florida, because if the Florida Gators want to go out looking, I don't know that they'll do better than Steve Adazio. No knock against Boston College, but if the Gators come calling, a place that Adazio coached and won a national championship, I'm sure there would be a conversation.
All right, here's Janine with Jimbo Fisher.
Jimbo, you guys have been in some real dog fights this year. How does this one stack up?
Well, this is as good as anybody. I said Steve does a tremendous job with those guys. They did a tremendous job with all the quarterback run and preparation. Defensively, we moved the ball well the first half. Then we got penalties and had a drop route right there. They only had 3 possessions. We didn't get the ball very much till the last drive, but we made the critical drive when we had to make the drive and got the stop down there when we had to get the stop.
As a head coach, what is it like coaching in a chess match in a game like this?
Well, it is. You don't have time to realize what you're in because you're constantly having to think about what you're going to do and how you're going to play it and how the clock runs. And, I can't say enough about our kids, how they compete and still keep their poise and be able to make plays when they have to.
What was the toughest thing about what Boston College was doing offensively? Because they are sort of similar to the offense you're going to see from Georgia Tech.
No doubt. They're not a true option, but they run the quarterback. It just speed sweeps, unbalanced. They do a great job of keeping mixed power, counter, and the quarterback run on top of that, and it's very difficult. That stuff. And the thing you do, when they do it, you don't get many possessions on offense.
Exactly. Well, congratulations on a hard-fought victory, Jimbo, and 11-0 this year.
Thank you.
We keep hearing you can't keep playing this way and keep winning. I would disagree. They're 11-0. They've won 27 straight.
And, for Boston College, of course, going home, tough one. You go back to that 2nd and 8 when they were on the drive where the clock was running. It looked like they had control. They decide to try a trick play at that time. It was open and dropped. You wonder if you go back at Boston College and say, boy, 3rd and 3 would have been nice the way we were running the ball. But they called the play. It was almost there. Give them credit. But you're right. This team for Florida State has really figured out a way to make the plays when they have to, but they don't panic. Nobody ever freaks out. They just continue to chop wood.
They are clutch. Once again, our final score, Florida State 20, Boston College 17. From Tallahassee, Mike Patrick. Thanks for watching, everybody. We send you back to the studio.